Dorothy?
Dorothy! Oh, wait a second. Let me explain.
No, please don't say anything.
But there's a reason.
I understand the reason.
No, that reason's not the reason. See, I'm not the person you think I am. Wait a minute now.
Nobody is.
Easy.
Dorothy, it's me.
No, it's me.
No, it's me.
No, it's me.
No, it's me. I'm just not well-adjusted enough. I mean, I'm sure I've got the same impulses. I mean, obviously I did have the same...
Don't jump to conclusions about that impulse. That impulse is a good impulse, Julie. If you can just see me out of these clothes, I...
No.
That's one of two characters played by Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie, one of 4 new holiday movies on this edition of At the Movies. And across the aisle from me is Gene Siskel, film critic of the Chicago Tribune.
And across the aisle from me, Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, in addition to Tootsie, which is the strong favorite to be the most popular of all the holiday films, we'll have reviews of 3 other big Christmas pictures: Meryl Streep in the film of William Styron's best-selling novel Sophie's Choice, also Paul Newman's highly touted performance in The Verdict. But first, Roger begins with Airplane 2, the sequel.
Well, I laughed all the way through the original Airplane, which was a scandalous and scatological satire on all those airport movies. But I only laughed about halfway through the sequel, which has a great title, Airplane 2, the sequel. But Part 2 was not made by the same people who made the original Airplane. It stars a lot of the same actors, including Robert Hayes, Lloyd Bridges, Julie Hagerty, and Peter Graves as the perverted pilot. And it uses exactly the same formula, a combination of sight gags, puns, one-liners, and bizarre exaggerations of every airplane movie since The High and the Mighty. Here's a typical scene. The stewardess is briefing the passengers on a trip to the moon.
Please listen to me. I want to tell you what's going on with the ship.
Right there.
Thank you. We've been thrown off course just a tad.
Yes? What exactly is a tad?
In space terms, that's about 500,000 miles.
Oh, that's interesting.
The bumps you feel are asteroids smashing into the hull of the ship. Also, we're headed right for the sun and can't seem to change course.
Miss, are you telling us absolutely everything?
Not exactly. We're also out of coffee.
Okay, I laughed at a scene like that. I laughed a lot at the beginning of this movie, too, which has a great series of brief gags at the check-in counter. And the premise of the movie is promising. Airplane 2, the sequel, is about a passenger space shuttle to the moon with the usual assortment of crackpots, hijackers, and Looney Tunes on board. When the onboard computer malfunctions, the shuttle starts to fall into the sun, and the movie starts to turn into a predictable retread of the original, even recycling some of the same jokes. So, sorry.
Yeah, you know, I think that it's even funnier in the beginning than you may have let on. I was laughing out loud a lot in the beginning. They may have pulled off in the first 10 minutes 15 really funny jokes, and then it just gradually disappears. So at the end, when they have William Shatner in at the end of the picture, there's a single funny joke. I would almost say this. Okay. You know how these, they all have these shopping center theaters with 4 movies playing? I'd go to see one of the good holiday pictures that we'll recommend, and then I would sneak across.
I don't think you're supposed to recommend that.
I am going to recommend. I don't care. I don't own a theater. Sneak across and see the first 10 minutes of Airplane 2. It's worth it.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem was that I had with the film. The original Airplane was kind of a new idea. And then you got young doctors in love, and you got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde together again.
Right.
And you had all of these retreads, and you had the television series Police Squad. Now comes Airplane 2. It's too late for a sequel. The idea is finished with. It's over with.
Yes, but if they had more funny jokes all the to through, you and I would be recommending it. Next at the movies, Dustin Hoffman playing a very different role, a woman.
RCA Video Disc. First, we opened your eyes to great entertainment. Now, we're going to open your ears to stereo sound. Introducing RCA's Stereo Video Disc Player, letting you enjoy great stereo entertainment and movies on your TV tonight. Basic players start at $2.99, stereo higher. RCA's Stereo Video Disc. It'll open your eyes and your ears.
Buy the player now and get Rocky 3 or Star Trek 2 or Dumbo free.
Got a minute? Duncan Hines got a new idea.
Holiday desserts with American Dash.
With just 1 pan,
1 Duncan Hines mix,
no more than 4 ingredients, no more than 35 minutes of your time, you can make one of these dazzling desserts.
Make my snow mountains with the Lux 2 Devils food. Bake in a cupcake pan, split, fill, top, and kiss. Wasn't that easy?
Make my Christmas tree with Swiss chocolate mix baked in a 2-pan. Filled up mint ice cream balls, let chocolate sauce drip down. Wasn't that easy?
Make my fabulous flambe. Bake a deluxe 2 yellow cake, cool, frost with whipped topping, spoon on hot cherry filling, brandy, and flambe. Oh, wasn't that easy? Delicious.
Ethel, you're terrific.
Duncan Hines, desserts with American Dash. In holiday magazines now. Watch them dash through it.
Glad has come up with a way to really handle kitchen garbage. With these tall kitchen garbage bags with handles built right in. Glad handle tie bags. This tough puncture-resistant bag has handles that you can tie in a knot, so no more twist ties. And the handles make it easy to lift and carry. Get a handle on your garbage with Glad handle tie bags. Yes, we're #1. We're tough, and we're glad.
Our next film, I think, is one of the year's best entertainments. It's Dustin Hoffman in the comedy Tootsie, playing an out-of-work actor so desperate he'll do anything for a job. That's the mood he's in when he visits his New York agent, played by Sidney Pollack, who also directed Tootsie, and Hoffman tells Pollack he needs money to help finance a friend's play in which he'll, of course, star.
Look, I don't want to argue about it, okay? I'm going to raise the $8,000 myself so I can produce his play, and I want you to send me up for anything. I don't care what it is. I will do dog commercials on television. I will do radio voiceovers.
Michael, I can't put you up for any of that.
Why not?
Because no one will hire you.
Oh, that's not true, man. I bust my ass to get a part right, and you know I do.
Yes, and you bust everybody else's ass, too. That's what you do. A guy's got 4 weeks to put on a play. You think he wants to sit and argue about whether or not Tolstoy can walk when he's dying, or walk when he's talking, or sing when he's walking?
That was 2 years ago, and that guy is an idiot.
They can't all be idiots, Michael. You argue with everybody. You've got one of the worst reputations in this town, Michael. Nobody will hire you.
Are you saying that nobody in New York will work with me?
Oh, no, that's too limited. Nobody in Hollywood wants to work with you either. I can't even send you up for a commercial. You played a tomato for 30 seconds. They went a half a day over schedule because you wouldn't sit down.
Yes, it wasn't logical.
You were a tomato! A tomato doesn't have logic. A tomato can't move.
That's what I said. So if he can't move, how's he gonna sit down, George? I was a stand-up tomato, a juicy, sexy beefsteak tomato. Nobody does vegetables like me. I did an evening of vegetables off Broadway. I did the best tomato, the best cucumber. I did an on-deep salad that knocked the critics on their ass.
Michael, I'm trying to stay calm here. You are a wonderful actor.
Thank you.
But you're too much trouble. Get some therapy.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to raise $8,000, and I'm going to do Jeff's play.
Michael, you're not going to raise 25 cents. No one will hire you.
Oh, yeah?
Now, who's that in the back there in the dress and glasses? That's Dustin Hoffman, who in desperation for work auditions for a woman's role on a TV soap opera, and what's more, he gets it.
Okay, Miss Michaels, we're going to do a little camera test now.
Yes.
Let me have a right profile, camera 1, camera 3, give me a left profile.
What side?
Left side.
Which way for your left?
What?
Is that my left or your left?
Wait a minute, what are you talking about? My left.
Your left.
Miss Michaels, nobody's talking to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you wanted my profile.
Not so close on camera 3.
Camera 3, back off.
I'd like to make her look a little more attractive. How far can you pull back?
How do you feel about Cleveland?
Knock it off.
That's Dabney Coleman, is the director of the soap opera. Tootsie is my favorite Hollywood film of the holiday season. It is both a marvelous physical comedy as well as a celebration of the plight of actors who sadly have to do anything to get work. And it also is a nicely delivered comment on sexual role-playing and how so often we act the way we are taught to act. Tootsie is one of those rare films where you can say, I can't imagine anyone not liking it. And I loved it and came away with renewed respect for Dustin Hoffman as one of those most rare movie stars who has remained first and foremost an actor who does take chances.
Despite the fact that the subject matter of Tootsie probably wouldn't have been used in a Hollywood movie of the 30s or 40s, this to me was that kind of a movie. A totally absorbing story, lots of very interesting character actors in supporting roles. It's not just a one-person movie.
I agree.
Great premise, were involved from beginning to end. There are a lot of plot points, and they all work out.
Yes.
And then this wonderful idea of Dustin Hoffman as a woman. I really enjoyed the movie. And also it's funny and other things like that. But as a piece of filmmaking, it's very nicely crafted.
We have to credit the director, Sidney Pollack, who we saw there in that scene. This is, I think, a classic Hollywood movie in the best sense of that. It can be, the film industry can be sort of proud of it. And you know, this thing could have bombed a half a dozen different ways. It could have been very embarrassing. That's the risk-taking of Hoffman.
We could have, if things had gone a little bit wrong, we would have been laughing at Dustin Hoffman. And the funny thing is, this Dorothy that he plays becomes somebody that we like.
Yes.
She does become, in this movie, another character in the movie. He is successful as an actor in the movie and also as an actor within his own life in making Dorothy stand up for something.
Double role, and he makes it work.
Really interesting. Our next movie is one of the best movies of the year, in my opinion. It's called Sophie's Choice, and it's the story of a Polish Catholic woman who survives the Nazi concentration camps and finds her way to Brooklyn, USA, and into the arms of a wild man lover and into the heart of a romantic dreamer of a friend. The movie stars Meryl Streep in a brilliant performance as Sophie, and in this scene, her lover, Nathan, tells the story of how he met Sophie to the southern kid named Stingo, who lives downstairs and wants to be a great novelist.
When I first met this one here, she was a rag and a bone and a hank of hair. And that was a whole year and a half after the Russians had liberated the camp she was in.
Yeah, it looked like something that the scars the birds. You know, what is that? Scarecrow. I had scurbut.
No. She means the scurvy.
Yeah, I had...
And typhus and anemia and scarlet fever. It was a miracle that she emerged from that camp alive.
Right. I mean, I thought that I had leukemia. I thought I was dying. But it was Nathan that said that it was only anemia.
Are you a doctor? No. That's my brother's domain. But I'm a biologist.
Yeah.
I graduated in science from Harvard.
And he was the MA in developmental and cellular biology.
Yeah, I do research now.
He works at Pfizer.
Pfizer, it's a big pharmaceutical house here in Brooklyn. Anyway, I took her to this friend of my brother's, a doctor who teaches up at Columbia Presbyterian.
Yeah.
He confirmed my diagnosis, and we put the little sweetie here on massive doses of ferrous sulfate, and she began to bloom like a rose. A rose. A rose.
That's a sweet accent that Meryl Streep has as Sophie. And that was Kevin Kline as the lover and Peter MacNicol as the kid who wants to be a novelist. Sophie has so many painful memories out of her past of World War II that she almost abandons her free will to the compulsions and whims of that lover who tries to draw her into his world of wild romantic fantasies and madness. And here's a scene where the kid comes home to find Sophie and Nathan playing games.
Lordy, Mr. Stingo. We're afraid something terrible might have befallen you on your way back to the Pink Plantation. Miss Sophie was all for having me institute a search. Miss Sophie, you indeed look ravishing.
Thank you very much. So, how you are doing this evening?
Come, darling.
Yeah, this was Nathan's idea to surprise you with this southern evening.
Your book has really whet my appetite to know about the South.
Tell me about the trip, too.
Yes, Miss Sophie and I have been discussing the possibility of taking a tour of your beloved Dixie in October. And I've been thinking, if it's all right with Miss Sophie.
Sure.
Well, I was thinking maybe we could make it a wedding trip. Have you join us, not just as our best friend, as my best man.
Well, if the music and the dreams could play all night, well, then nobody would ever have to face the reality about themselves, but it doesn't work out that way. Stingo, the kid, gradually begins to understand that Nathan is crazy and that Sophie is tortured by memories out of her past. And during one long night, one of the nicest long passages in the whole film, Sophie tells Stingo what happened to her during World War II, and the movie uses flashbacks to show us her unbearably painful experiences. Sophie's Choice is a movie of opposites, of past and present, of America and Europe, of innocence and experience, and finally of life and death. But what makes those important subjects into a good movie is the simple, luminous humanity of two very good performances by Kevin Kline and Peter MacNicol, and by Meryl Streep a great performance.
Well, I think it is a great performance by her, but regarding the whole film, I like it very much, not quite as much as you. I think that the film tries for greatness. I think it wants to be great, and I don't think it quite makes it. I guess you obviously think it does make it, right?
I think it's a lot better than, yeah, I would say so, yes.
Okay.
I think it's a great
Here's
film.
where I think it fails. In the character of the Nathan character by Kevin Kline. In the book, which I happened to read, this is a wild character, very much Sophie's equal in importance in the book, not in this film. The script doesn't have it. There's nothing wrong with Kevin Kline's performance. He doesn't have the scenes. I think this movie should have gone maybe 3 hours instead of close to 2.5, and really become a sprawling kind of film, an epic. And I don't think this quite is. It turns in more to Sophie's story.
Well, I've read the book too, and I think that Kevin Kline does a very good job of finding a way to take this strange, bizarre, eccentric, exaggerated character from the book and bring him into the movie in a way that's plausible. If he played the character as he's written, it'd be too broad for the realistic medium of film. I like the way that Kline comes into a room and you don't know. You're always trying to read his mood. Is he going to be hostile? Is he going to be friendly? He's so mercurial and changing.
I thought he was a minor character. I really wasn't having that reaction.
I'm surprised to hear that. I thought it was real good ensemble acting by all three of them.
The third one, Peter McNichol, as that Stingo, he's doing mostly reaction shots, just looking and observing. He's terrific. I recommend the film, not as much as you.
Okay.
Next at the movies, Paul Newman is a lawyer fighting for self-respect in a corrupt judicial system.
I know about you. You couldn't hack it as a lawyer. You were a bag man for the boys downtown, and you still are. I know about you.
'Tis the season to be merry. Let the holidays begin.
Your holiday plans get off to a great beginning at Eagle. You will find tender turkeys and hams, baking supplies, fresh fruit baskets, everything for entertaining. So whatever you're planning, include plenty of good food from Eagle. After all, you just never know who's going to drop in.
A very Merry Christmas to you and yours from Eagle.
Still got one of these? Give yourself a break. Get a Toro power shovel. Clears decks, walks and patios, steps, tight spots, anywhere you used to shovel. So if you don't like to shovel, let the Toro power shovel shovel. See, that's great. Can I borrow that? Sure. Try the other knee. Haven't you done without a Toro long enough?
It's an excellent Christmas gift, and now Toro gives you $10 back.
Most tacos are the one-handed size, but here's a taco big enough for 2 hands. Taco Bell's giant Taco Bell Grande. You'll like it more, because there's more of it to like. You'll savor more of its seasoned ground beef. Enjoy more of its real cheddar cheese. Taste more of all its good flavors. The two-fisted Taco Bell Grande. It makes the Taco Bell difference bigger than ever.
Come to Taco Bell now for your holiday gift. Free coupons and can save you about $5.
Life isn't easy for the people who deliver the best-selling potato chip around. When a potato chip tastes as fresh as Jay's, people can't stop eating them. So just when we think we're through delivering fresh Jay's, we realize we haven't even begun. It's not easy being number one.
Paul Newman's film career is filled with many well-known hits, but frankly, with many more losers. That's why it's such a pleasure to see him get a meaty role now in The Verdict, a classic courtroom drama with Newman playing an alcoholic lawyer on a long losing streak, trying to pull himself together for one last case, arguing on behalf of a young woman who was turned into a vegetable through her surgeon's malpractice at a Catholic hospital. Newman is offered a hefty settlement before the case ever goes to trial, but he turns it down. He tells his friend and fellow attorney Jack Warden that he wants to do the right thing and bring the case to trial.
They killed her. Trying to buy it. That's the point, dummy. Let them buy it. No, we let them buy the case. That's why I took it. Now, look, you just dropped this, you understand? We'll go up to New Hampshire. We'll
Mick. You said, no, listen to me. You said, if not now, when?
I know what I said, but not now, all right?
Gee, something else. I can win it. I can win this case.
You won, Frank. You won. When they give you the money, that means you won. Now, look, we don't want to go to court. Is this getting through to you? Do you know who the attorney for the archdiocese is? Ed Kincannon. He's a good man. He's a good man? He's the prince of darkness. He'll have people testifying they saw a water skiing in Marblehead last summer. Now, look, Frank, don't with this case, huh? I gotta stand up for that girl.
All rise. Newman does go to trial against two adversaries, the hospital's ace attorney, James Mason, and a biased judge, Milo O'Shea.
I'm going to write to the board of bar overseers about you today, fella. You're on your way out. They should have kicked you out in that Lillibridge case. Now, this is it today.
I'm an attorney on trial before the bar, representing my client. My client. You open your mouth, you're losing my case for me.
Now, listen to me,
No, you listen to me. All I want on this trial was a fair shake. Okay? Push me into court 5 days early. I lose my star witness, and I can't get a continuance, and I don't care. I'm going up there, I'm going to try it, I'm going to let the jury decide. You know, they told me about you. Said you're a hard ass, you're a defendant's judge. No, I don't care. I said to hell with it, to hell with it.
Look, Galvin, many years ago...
Come on. Hey, don't give me that about you being a lawyer, too. I know about you. You couldn't hack it as a lawyer. You were a bag man for the boys downtown, and you still are. I know about you.
Are you done?
You're damn right I'm done. I'm going to ask for a mistrial. I'm going to request that you disqualify yourself from sitting on this case. I'm going to take a transcript of the trial to the Judicial Conduct Board and ask that they impeach your ass.
I really love courtroom dramas, my favorites being Inherit the Wind and Anatomy of a Murder. The Verdict is not in that class for me, although it does have some memorable scenes in addition to Newman's fine work. I like the way it shows a top-quality law firm like James Mason's preparing for a trial by rehearsing witnesses, manipulating the media. That's all terrific, and I like the whole dark look of the film, the darkness of the legal horse trading behind the elegant courtroom walls. And for all that, as much as for Paul Newman's performance, I recommend The Verdict.
I thought it was a great movie. I think Newman has a real chance of winning the Oscar this year for this performance, and I thought it was two different kinds of dramas. I mean, it is a courtroom drama, and that's the level you picked up on.
Yeah.
It's also a personal drama. The first shot in the picture of Newman, it's the middle of the day, he's in a bar, he's
Drinking.
drunk, he's playing a pinball machine.
Right.
This is a battle by a person who is totally enslaved to booze, and he's trying to battle back one last time and do one last thing to get his self-respect back. And that, to me, was the drama in the film. Some people say the film was a little slow. Things aren't happening at times. What's happening at times is that nothing at all is happening in his life, and that is dramatic.
Well, I agree. If you get involved with that personal story, then the movie kicks into another category. I did not get that way. The whole Oscar thing, I'm going to tell you, I don't care.
You don't?
I really don't care. It means nothing. If he wins or if he doesn't, it'll be for reasons that not only have to. This is a very good performance. I think that's all that should be said. And a pretty good movie.
I do care. I'm just a kid at heart, I guess. Next at the movies, Aroma, the Educated Skunk, tracking down the stinker of the week.
Look at me. Do you like what you see? Good. Because it's not me. It's a recording of me on Memorex videotape. This remarkable tape has been recorded and re-recorded 100 times, but I bet you still couldn't tell if it was Memorex or me, which really isn't me. It's Memorex. Memorex videotape. Even after 100 recordings, you'll wonder, is it live or is it Memorex?
Oh, Paul, I like this haircut. It really shows off my...
Ring around the collar. You've got ring around the collar.
Those dirty rings. Sprays and powders weren't good enough, so I tried Whisk. Whisk does a better job on ring around the collar, and Whisk goes on to get your whole wash clean. Hi, Paul.
Hi, hey, does everyone like your new look?
Yep. It's called No More Ring Around the Collar.
Oh.
Whisk gets ring around the collar and your whole wash clean.
I don't have a 76 credit card.
No problem. Any one of those will do.
It will?
Sure. For a limited time, we honor all oil company credit cards for any purchase up to $35. With just one signature, you're charging your gasoline and applying for a Union 76 credit card. No lengthy application form.
Could I apply for 76 credit cards?
Sign right here.
That's all?
Go with the spirit. Use any current oil company credit card at Union 76.
That's all.
The spirit of 76.
Can somebody bring me a flashlight?
Ah, the problem with flashlights. When you need them, you can't find them. When you find them, they may not work.
Thanks.
But now there's Ready Light from the makers of First Alert. Ready Light is the powerful rechargeable light that hangs on the wall. It's always on hand, ready to shine for hours. Rechargeable Ready Light. It solves the problem with flashlights.
Thanks.
At JCPenney, Venture, Holt.
Oh, yes, he's back this week. Aroma, the educated skunk, helping to sniff out the week's worst movie.
Just had his first bath of his whole lifetime. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, I wish the cushions he was sitting on after what he did last week had a bath.
I'll send him to the dry cleaners. My squeak of the week this week is a movie named Horror Planet, or at least that was what they were calling it on Broadway last week when I was in New York and saw it. Its original title, though, was in various places around the country, Inseminoid. And under either title, it's one of the worst science fiction movies I've ever seen.
That bad?
It's about that bad. It's about the crew of a spaceship that lands on a mysterious planet that's filled with all sorts of underground caves, and that's so they can use a lot of cheap underground shots instead of building expensive outer space sets. So they creep around the same caves again and again. One of the crew members is Judy Geeson. She gets impregnated by one of the local bug-eyed monsters, and as a strange creature grows within her, she develops an insatiable appetite for blood and prowls around the space station, killing and draining her colleagues, and certainly draining my patience.
I could have saved you time because I had seen Inseminoid.
You had?
Very bad.
How many stars?
1 out of a possible 4.
Yeah?
Maybe.
It's a lot.
Let's recap our reactions to the films on this show. Roger and I agree on Airplane 2, the sequel. We both agree that the opening 15 minutes are laugh-out-loud hilarious, but then the film begins to sputter, and it does fall apart at the end. So, 2 votes, thumbs down. And we were in agreement on Tootsie. We both admired Dustin Hoffman's magical performance, as well as the film's honoring of actors and their lives, which so often are full of disappointment. Tootsie is glorious entertainment, the year's funniest movie. And we both vote thumbs up for Alan Pakula's Sophie choice with Meryl Streep as a Nazi concentration camp survivor. I had some problems with the way the script compared with the book, but like Roger, I was very impressed with Meryl Streep's work. It's a major piece of film acting and a deeply moving film. And finally, 2 more upturned thumbs for The Verdict, the courtroom drama with Paul Newman. Roger liked this film more than I did. Greatly admiring Paul Newman's performance, I was more impressed by the legal haggling in the film. But 2 strong recommendations nonetheless for The Verdict.
So that's it for this week. Next week at the movies, we're looking at more new Christmas releases, including Best Friends, a romantic comedy starring Burt Reynolds and Goldie Hawn. And until then, we'll see you at the movies.
Promotional considerations paid for by Ward Johnston, Johnson Wax, and Super Pop Popcorn. Hooray for Raisinets. Now you can enjoy one of the all-time favorite movie candies at home. Goobers and Snow Caps, too. Hooray for Raisinets. Glade Aerosol, the air freshener that instantly makes your home fresh. 1 spray and you'll know the difference Glade made. Super Pop Popcorn, a tender, delicious, nutritious snack at an economical price. Super Pop Popcorn, it's the one snack you can't eat alone. Super Pop.